Namaskar and welcome to this exciting episode of Sattology, debunking mythology. Sattology means science of truth or study of truth. Opposite of that is mythology, which means science or study of fake, lie, or imagination. I would like to thank all my viewers, members, supporters for coming forward to recognize, even though we never ask funds, and helping us to expand our network in North America. We have very special guest. This is the only show we talk politics, nothing, nowhere else, and that too from an academic point of view. So, without delay, let us welcome my very good friend Abhijit Iyer Mitra. Welcome, Abhijit.
Live long and prosper.
Abhijit, the world is changing so fast. Like everything is like in a flux, and the Ukraine-Russia war, and Ama- first time in my life I saw in. I've been living in California for a long time. There, I'm seeing that the warnings are issued, don't turn on electricity between 6 and 9 p.m. Sorry, AC.
Mhm.
So, from your perspective, looking at internationally, how do you see this situation now?
So, what's worse is apparently Switzerland. You can go to jail for up to 3 months if I forget now, 3 months or 3 years, if you've set your heating to more than 19 degrees Celsius. I don't know what the Fahrenheit for that is, but yeah, so I think we're going back to the good old days of World War II when I think that was when there was the last time there was rationing in Europe. It's fun, isn't it? I mean, everybody went on saying that, uh, Europe, Russia is such a tiny economy, it can't have an effect on us, etc., etc., etc. And I'm just sitting here enjoying the popcorn because it's usually Europe sitting and enjoying the popcorn or completely ignoring the misery in other parts of the world. And this time I'm the one popping the popcorn and enjoying the misery in Europe.
No, it's not fun because most of us are not used to high temperatures and no air conditioning.
Well,
At
it's fun for
peak
me.
time, that's a sadistic pleasure. Okay, so people are suffering here, where people are sweating and they can't turn on the AC. Yesterday, in the evening.
I was without electricity for a day and a half on Monday. So the electricity pole burnt up, God knows why, because they're all shoddy connections and electricity keeps getting stolen. And what happened was that the cable burnt up, and it took them about 6 hours, 8 hours to fix my internet. But then it took them something like 36 hours to fix the electricity. So if I can deal with 36 degrees Celsius temperature with just a fan, I'm sure Europe and America can deal with high temperatures with just a fan. Go buy yourselves a fan. I think it's very cheap on Amazon if you buy those make in China fans.
You know, coming to the question which has come now, like in the France activated all the nuclear reactors. That was a Unilad report, and the people say the battery stores electricity, doesn't produce electricity. So
Mhm.
somebody somewhere the coal, like you said in the past show also, that in one of the earlier shows you had said that that the coal power has to be increased, and USA has shut down many nuclear reactors, nuclear power stations, including the one near San Diego has been shut down. So the effects of disposing batteries into environment, I think it worries me the most because the chemicals used can really erode the soil. What is your
Look,
analysis on that?
if you touch a battery fluid, you'll cause serious damage to your fingers or whatever you touch it with, right? You want to put that into the soil and you think it is ecologically better than burning coal. As things go, I would say like that's not exactly an accurate listing of priorities. For me, I think the safest at the moment in terms of long term impact is nuclear or solar. And I think America has a huge well of solar energy. I mean, you go into the Nevada desert and things like that, you can put a lot of solar. Uh, do that. I mean, there's always options that could have been gone in for that are not being gone in for, and I really don't know why.
Even the solar panels, the material in which they are produced, they are rare earths, and it is also, I feel that there can be new colonization wave in South America and wherever these rare earths are found. I mean, they can't go to East Russia because East Russia is also another source of rare earth metals. But I see a new wave of colonization happening where the
But it's mostly silicon, no?
silicon plus there are some other material used to store the energy, to convert into
But
energy.
rare earths aren't really rare. They're just called rare earths. They're abundantly available across the globe. The thing is, China has outpriced everybody. That's the main issue. Okay, they've deliberately, predatorily underpriced everybody and kicked everybody out of the market. When that equation changes, it's like, when tin stopped, when climate change brought about disruption in tin supplies in the Bronze Age. Bronze is copper plus tin. People moved towards iron, and that's how the Iron Age starts. So something good came out of the Bronze Age collapse, which was iron, right? So great, let's do iron. It's the same thing with this. A breakage of gas supplies should lead a lot of people to think about protectionist measures for domestic rare earth mining, uh, which is a very good thing, I think.
So coming to the Arctic and the northeast of Russia, which is becoming a new India's, we already spoke a little bit about it. The India's Far East policy includes the Arctic, and we recently find out that the ONGC has been making investments since 2001, not today. 2001, they've been making investments. So India has played. Do you think India has played the cards well, or do you think it is going to be again a lost opportunity? Because
It,
Arctic
it
is,
was smart, but it was suboptimal because you need to invest in a lot more, not in the Arctic, but in Eastern Russia. You need to invest in a lot more. The danger of that is uh, basically that you've got your supply lines running through the South China Sea, which can get interdicted by China. And one of the ideas that arose was that we keep ownership as is, as in India will own all the oil fields that it currently owns in Sakhalin and possibly more in eastern Siberia. And Japan keeps the ownership or buys a lot of oil fields or gas fields and things like that in the Middle East. And what we do is we supply each other. Indian fields supply Japan, and Japanese fields supply India. And that way we kind of insulate each other from political fallouts and guarantee the shortest possible supply route.
see, the one of the India has featured a lot in Republican discussions as well as Democrat discussions as one of the biggest consumers of energy, and
Mm.
the thing which is case which
Can
is,
I just say, it seems that the Republican understanding of India is abysmal. Today, President Trump went and gave an interview to NDTV, which is the most toxically left wing TV channel that there is. It's like the MSNBC, and if uh, what's that bald guy on CNN? Brian Stelter had a child with Rachel Madcow. That would be NDTV. So, with all due respect, I think Republicans have a serious cranial rectal inversion syndrome when it comes to India, and it's really not worth considering what their opinions of India are.
that interview was arranged by Shalab Kumar and happens to be my friend, and he's doing some internal politics. He doesn't like, so probably that's the only channel he got a chance on. That's what he did.
I don't think so. I don't think so. I think the problem with a lot of people is they seek the validation of the left. And I think that's what was happening out here, the validation of the left.
Yeah, I mean, they bombed the Trump's interview on NDTV. If it's coming on NDTV, nobody's going to watch it, however popular he is. Uh, One of the things which really comes to the mind right now, the next question which has come is how does India, with all the now the Indian military is being featured in American media also partly now, where when Indian government says they can defend themselves, how prepared they are to work with against China or fight against China or without Russian help.
Minimally. Look, there's just disinterest, right? Nobody's taking defense seriously out here. We hear a lot of slogans. We don't see any real movement on the ground. So what do? I think the main reason America came up with AUKUS was it decided that Quad was something of a grandstanding joke.
That's true. AUKUS is a military alliance, and Quad is nobody knows what's the real goal of Quad. Like people can't understand.
They had a conference at the last Raisina dialogue, the last to last, I think the pre-COVID Raisina dialogue. They had the 4 chiefs of naval staff talking: Australia, India, US, and Japan. And the only thing they spoke about was the blue economy. And I'm sitting there thinking, at what point are you taking something seriously where 4 chiefs of naval staff sit together and talk about a blue economy?
This is funny. The naval chiefs talking about the economy. The interesting one of the interesting things which recently also come up with is with the China toning down against Americans. Toning down in the sense that they allowed more uh, discounts on Chinese exports. They were never used to negotiate, and so it seems like there will be a spurt in trade between US and China shortly. So now all that whatever happened in tweets and messages and media is all going south. Tesla has increased their production, so more and more Chinese imports are going to hit USA. So, do you think make America great again or bring manufacturing back in USA is going to ever happen?
Look,
Depend.
so here's the dilemma of it, right? In order to exclude China, you have to do a lot of things like protectionism. Now, you don't want to do protectionism and you want to contain China. And this is a bit cranial rectal, like, wanting gas prices to remain stable when you want to alienate both Saudi Arabia and Russia and the UAE at the same time. Not happening. At some point, America has to decide what it wants. If it wants to regenerate American industry, it probably does need to go in for protectionism till such point where 3D, additive manufacturing kind of makes negates the value of cheap labor. But till then, you do need protection. And till then, I don't see if your economy is growing, so is the Chinese economy, because your growth is fundamentally fueled by Chinese growth. That is what interdependence means. Or rather, you fuel Chinese growth. China didn't become rich by itself. China became rich because they had access to American markets. And they were really smart people who got their policies right initially. Deng Xiaoping got his policies right. The current idiot, we can't say much about.
That's true. I think the military challenge posed by China, which is being made a big issue in the US, I don't think so. US military also is taking seriously, other than sending 1 or 2 ships in the Taiwanese Straits, and there is nothing else happening. There is nothing else happening. The one of the things which really came up in discussions, I think I'm seeing in the media reports also, is the reports of Chinese economy tanking and the financial institutions tanking and the American banks stepping up to support it or to fund it in terms of what's happening. So like we are
But this happened before. This happened in 2008 as well, where, American speculative buying pretty much wiped out the Chinese debt and things like that. The thing is, at that time, America had money. Today, America doesn't have money, which is why they're trying to extend debt, that, you'll buy out Chinese debt and add it to America's debt.
Correct.
which is one of the most stupid things to do. But, like they say, that line from Will Durant. Now, Will Durant wasn't a very good historian. He's more of a storyteller. But there's one, that first line in Apocalypto, the movie. A great civilization doesn't destroy itself from without. It first destroys itself from within.
Happened everywhere.
It happened everywhere. Rome destroyed itself.
That's right.
Okay, Byzantium destroyed itself. India destroyed itself. The Persian Empire destroyed itself. The Incas destroyed themselves. The Aztecs destroyed themselves. So, congratulations. Like if this is the path America wants to go down, I thought there was enough historical knowledge in America to beat the repeat patterns of history. But it seems to me that, that old adage, history usually repeats itself as a farce. That's what we're seeing, a farce.
So well put it, because we can see that the good historians or people who talk sense are marginalized by the mainstream media, and they don't have any say in anything. Like I can tell many names: Victor David Hansen, many other names are there who are well known to me. The bad part is people like the warmongers are coming in the front from all the parties. I mean, the binary party system, I think that's a failure right there, because there is no scope for third view, only two views.
So here's the issue. When do warmongers arise in society? When there is social friction and economic uncertainty. Because war is a fantastic way of diverting domestic attention, and it's a fantastic way of having a temporary blip in the economy. Right? War production takes everything. Money is distributed without looking at where it's going, etc., etc., etc. Like, those $60 billion earmarked for Ukraine 2 months back. Apparently, all of that has now been spent, and Zelensky now wants even more money. For what? I'm not seeing what that 60 billion has been used for. There's no correlation between input and output.
Zelensky is
So
the
this
new
is turning out
son-in-law.
to be another Afghanistan where, money just keeps going into a bottomless pit. How much money did America end up spending in Afghanistan? Close to $1 trillion. Yeah. So look, every country, I mean, you chaps voted for this government. So you're getting exactly what you deserve. Congratulations to the 80 million Biden voters. You got what you deserve. I wish Biden on you. I wish Kamala Harris on you. I wish Ilhan Omar on you. You deserve more of them.
Okay, now enough of this wishing for all of us. But the one thing really strikes out is that the Zelensky is the new son-in-law of United States. He's pampered and everything, and he's still being glorified. In fact, the comparison has been made between him and Winston Churchill. And very few people understand that Boris Johnson went down because of him. The financial crisis, which usually came in addition to his own corruption scandals over there. Do you think that the Boris Johnson really failed because of Ukraine?
No, I think Ukraine was one part of it. The prices and the general disaffection and things. But I think it had more to do with how harsh the lockdown was and how he himself was violating a lot of the lockdown rules with all his beer parties and things like that. I think that was the main thing, but definitely in the background, the price rises because of Ukraine had a lot to do with it as well. But not it wasn't the camel that, it wasn't the hair that broke the camel's back.
So coming to UK, Rishi Sunak lost to Liz Truss,
Thank
and
God.
Liz Truss is a person who was actually silenced by Jay Shankar in one of the public meets press
She
conference.
wasn't silenced. She made a point. And, this is like if you go to these YouTube videos, Ben Shapiro destroys left wingers, or Brian Stelter destroys the right. And you actually go play the video and you're like, this is so mundane. There is no destruction happening out here.
True.
So there was no destroy Liz Truss. It was how a normal conversation happens. And the way Indians are is we have such pathetic sex lives. Indians probably have sex once in 365 days, that they see one thing, one episode like this, and they have a spontaneous hands-free orgasm looking at it, and they go gaga over it. It tells you more about the frustrations of the Indian public than it does anything else.
No, it was very funny reporting because, yeah, exactly like you said, there's nothing in the video which says anyone destroyed anyone. He put his point, she put her point. They both are representing their own countries, and that's about it. The Secretary of State becoming the Prime Minister of UK has always seen a very strong prime ministership. We have seen in the past also. Margaret Thatcher, great example of a woman becoming a prime minister, and she was a very strong prime minister. I see that actually coming in UK. Rishi Sunak losing it, it doesn't matter
No,
to me.
I
No,
don't think Liz Truss is the same material, just like Theresa May. Look, Margaret Thatcher was Margaret Thatcher. Okay. She wasn't great because she was a woman. She was just a great leader, full stop. The woman was entirely incidental to her. It maybe did help her in, because women used to be discounted all the time. It did give her that sense of constantly fighting and winning, right? But with Theresa May and Liz Truss, I simply don't see that happening. I don't think they're at the same caliber. I mean, you look at all these other prime ministers, these other female prime ministers, Jacinta Ardern or Sanna Marin in Finland and things like that. I'm sitting there going completely unimpressed. We have this fascination with female leaders. Our fascination should be for leadership. Golda Meir, great leader. Margaret Thatcher, great leader. Of course, Golda Meir's legacy in Israel is heavily disputed. India, Indira Gandhi was, I mean, she was like, there's been no leader since or after who's ever had a grasp of realpolitik like Indira Gandhi. She was completely mucked up because of socialism, and she destroyed the economy and she destroyed democracy in the country. That's a different matter. But she knew power in a way that no other Indian prime minister before or after ever did. Good, bad, I don't know. But see, that is an admirable quality in a leader, that ruthlessness is what makes a leader good. And if they're good at their jobs, even better. Indira Gandhi was good at certain things, she was an absolute failure at certain other things. So let's celebrate Indira Gandhi for being a great leader, not for being a woman. Sirimavo Bandaranaike in Sri Lanka, what a disaster. Right? Sylvie Kinigi in Rwanda, who got killed in the first phases of the Rwandan genocide, what a disastrous prime minister she was. So you can have lots of disastrous people. Being a woman has nothing to do with it.
no, absolutely not. It's a leadership. I'm just telling. So thank you so much, Abhijit, for coming, and thank you for all the viewers for joining. Namaste, and thank you.